Rahim. Welcome to our course, which is Macroeconomics, and today we will talk about measuring GDP. So what we will study in this chapter, or in this topic, we will talk about the meaning of macroeconomics, the meaning of GDP, real GDP, nominal GDP, and GNP. So what does it mean in economics? Of course, you studied before the meaning of economics, but today we want to talk about macroeconomics. So what does it mean, macroeconomics? It is the branch of economics that studies the performance of an economy as a whole. It focuses on the aggregate demand changes in economy, such as unemployment, growth rate, GDP, and inflation. So this is the topic of macroeconomics: unemployment, growth rate, GDP, and inflation. Today we want to talk about one topic, which is gross domestic product. So what does it mean, GDP or gross domestic product? It is the market value of final goods and services that produced inside the country during a year or during given period of time. So when we calculate GDP, we will not include intermediate goods. We will not include works in houses or homes. We will not include illegal activities. And of course, we will not include underground economy. So let me repeat again the meaning of GDP: the market value of final goods and services produced in a country during a given period of time. So what does it mean, market value? Market value means we will multiply the price of good times its price. The price of good times a quantity for each good. And after that, we will add the value of each good together to get one value, which is total value of output. This is what we call it GDP. But what about final goods? When we calculate GDP, we calculate only the final goods, not intermediate goods. What's the difference between final and intermediate? Final goods like a car. Intermediate goods like tires. So when we calculate only the final good, which is car. We will not calculate tires. Why? Because tires already included in the price of cars. But if we include it, it means we have a problem called double counting. So we have to exclude intermediate goods in order to avoid double counting. What does it mean, produced within a country? It means we are calculating the production produced inside the country, regardless who is producing or regardless the nationality of producers. In given time period, it means we calculate the production produced during certain period, like a year or 6 months. So we will not calculate the production for previous years. When we calculate GDP, we can calculate it by using many methods. Two of them are expenditure method and income method. Now we want to know the difference between nominal GDP and real GDP. Nominal GDP, it is the GDP, but at current price, which means we multiply current price times current quantity. While real GDP means the production at base year price. In other words, current quantity times price of base year. How can we calculate nominal from real or real from nominal? By using something called GDP deflator. So if I want to find real, it will be nominal over GDP deflator times 100. If I want to find nominal, it is real GDP times GDP deflator divided by 100. And if you want to find GDP deflator, it equals to nominal GDP over real GDP. Last point is gross national product. What's the difference between GNP and GDP? GNP, the production or the market value of all final goods produced inside the country and outside the country by the same or by the people who have the same nationality. For example, Egyptian people are producing cars in Japan, and Egyptian people produces computers in Egypt. So people who are producing cars in Japan, they will be calculated in GDP of Japan, but will be calculated in GNP of Egypt. So how can we find GNP from GDP? You will find out GNP equals GDP minus income outflow to abroad plus income inflow from abroad. Or we can say GNP equals GDP plus net income from abroad. So GNP could be greater than GDP if net income is positive, or GNP less than GDP if net income is negative, while GNP equal GDP when net income from abroad is 0. Thank you very much, and see you inshallah next lecture.